in an interview on radio station Key 103 this week, Cheryl Cole revealed that she isn't too fussed about men who may be carrying some extra weight. She disclosed that a guy could be in Speedos and be ripped within an inch of his life, and I don't think I'd look again. It would have to be the Bermuda shorts and a pot belly for me. So it sounds like her estranged husband Ashley's toned look is out, and men with a beer belly may be in luck. Steve, switch off now. So is it a good idea to change types after you've had a bit of a heartbreak?
I think it's important, actually, because I've always gone for a certain type and a certain look. But sometimes it can backfire on you because sometimes they say stick to what you know. And I was on a plane a while ago and there was a guy sat behind me. I've always gone for guys with shaved heads or whatever, like the bouncer look. And there's a guy sat behind me on the plane, really handsome guy, and he's got a big quiff. I thought, right, he's a bit
He's got hair,
he's got hair, he's got a fringe, right? So he starts chatting me up. Anyway, we're going to Samoa and he starts chatting me up and he says to me, how long are you there for? I said, I'm there for 2 days. He said, well, do you want to go out for a drink? I went, all right then. He's got hair. Anyway, he comes to find me.
You're on your own?
I'm on my own, yeah. The next day he comes to meet me, we have a little coffee and he says, I'll pick you up at 7 o'clock tonight. So I'm all excited, getting my hair done, getting dressed up, 7 o'clock in hotel reception, waiting. And he turned up with his wife and kids. And I went out with them as well. I couldn't believe. And she's looking at me and she's going, he hasn't been out for a year. But he was quite insistent we went out tonight.
Oh,
I was like,
how awkward.
It was really weird. And I'm trying to analyse it, thinking, what's all this about? Then I realised the only way he could get out and get a pass to get out was to bring his wife and kids, I think.
But what about your friends? I mean, you
Wasn't
know what your type is. I mean, you said you go for a certain look. If your friends are ever setting you up, do they go for a certain look as well, or do they try and break the mould and set you up with someone different?
Well, all my friends have said now he's got to have a fringe. That's all. Just the one
at the back,
requirement. Got to have
just
a
a fringe.
Yeah, just a
Okay.
fringe. I think, you know, there is a certain... I don't know if a certain type comes with a certain look. I'm not really sure about that, you know. I think that's a bit general.
I don't know where you go, why people go for that sort of type thing, you know.
Don't you go for a type?
No, I've never had a type. I've had so many different types. I've had any old type. I don't care.
Any cornerstone.
No, honestly, I'm not trying to be funny there. I actually mean, it doesn't matter to me what they look like or who they are, where they come from or anything, because if I like them, that's fine. And I've never judged people by the way they look, and I've never actually gone for a specific type. And I was trying to, I was sort of, you know, mentally going through the list of all the people, and I just thought there isn't any two people even slightly similar.
But there must be a common denominator. There must be something
Totally
right down
different,
there that connects all those men with all those hundreds of men.
Would it be personality rather than looks?
I think it's
say?
because maybe because they were all breathing. No, I can't think there isn't anything.
What
Honestly,
about intellect? Are they all of a similar intellect?
No,
no,
not at all. Not at all. Completely different backgrounds, different looks, different heights, different everything. So, you know, no, I wouldn't need to change my type.
I have to say, I mean, I know my experience is maybe a little bit limited compared to yours, but
a little bit.
You say she's loose.
No, I'm just saying.
Everyone's looser than her. She's only had 2.
Really? Just
Yeah.
2 in their life?
Yeah.
My
Completely?
whole life, yeah.
And as Carol said one day, what? Not at the same time? No. But they were both very different, you know, very different sort of backgrounds, really different in terms of look-wise and this sort of thing. And I think it was a subconscious thing. I don't think I deliberately did it. But it has been quite nice to, you know, try something different.
Maybe it does depend on how bad your previous experience was, you know, and maybe you would be diverting your eyes and everything away from another one like it.
I mean, I think you should think out the, what's it called, the box. Say drawer. Because I certainly should think out the box or drawer or saucepan or whatever it's called. Because all my life I went for pretty boys. My first boy was a blonde ballet dancer and the da-da-da-da. And of course, you shouldn't do that because you're only going on looks. And how shallow is that? I mean, I'm calling myself shallow, not them shallow. Because that's really shallow, isn't it? Just to go for the eyes, beautiful eyes.
I think when you're younger, though, Sherry, you initially, when you're younger, it is the immediate physical thing. And as you get a bit older, you start to think, actually, he might bring something different to the party, or that person makes me laugh. He's got a belly, he'll be more grateful. You know,
I mean, what about the chemical thing? That's what I was going to say. It's a chemical thing. I mean, you can have 100 people in a room and suddenly, for some reason, you're like that one over there. You don't know why.
Andrea, I was at a do, and there was 350 bikers, all in leather.
That sounds brilliant.
And all sitting on bikes. Well, they would. And out of the 350 bikers, there was one guy had real blonde, shaggy hair with these beautiful blue eyes, sitting on his bike, and I went, and it's just his eyes. Oh, it was about 6 years ago.
And did you make a move?
No, I've never seen him since. But you know, it was a connection. That was all it was.
Yeah.
And he went off on his bike.
At the end of the day,
sunset.
there's types and then there's chemistry, and you just go for what works, really.
Whatever.
I think. Yeah.
No, I'm going for a new type.
Okay. Right. Break time.